Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, The Feral Survivalist. Today we are going to be fleshing the skunk. It is part 2 of my skunk tanning series. We already did the video for skinning the skunk, so go ahead and check that out. It's on my channel. And now we're going to be fleshing that skin that we took off. So I like to start with really sharp knives, so I'm just sharpening up both my knives here really well. I'm getting ready, and I've got gloves on because it's like a little bit messy and just, just nice to be clean. I'd like to mention at this time that I caught this skunk using a live trap, and I like to use the live trap as opposed to a snare in my particular area because we have a lot of pet cats, and I wouldn't want to accidentally get somebody's cat. This way, if the cat ends up in the live trap, it's no big deal. I just open it and let it out. Nobody's hurt. But so just, if I was further off grid, I could use snares. But right now I'm using live traps, and then I drown the skunk in a wheelbarrow full of water while it's still in the cage, and that way I don't get sprayed, and the skunk is dispatched quickly. Skunk skin. I just don't have a board just to gun me get started, or a BB gun or anything like that. I'm not against them. Nice, I just don't have one. So maybe that's something I need to look into getting. I've done that at this time. I don't. So this is what I'm doing. It all depends on what you're comfortable with. So just in case anybody's interested, there's other alternatives. It's all personal preference. It's quick and fairly painless, as far as killing the animal goes. So, as long as you make sure that there's enough water to submerge it, and then you just drop it in and it's done. It takes about 30 seconds, a minute, and it's done. So I find that works for me. You can do whatever works best for you. So I'm just lightly making incisions into the fatty layer just to get started, and from there I will continue to scrape along. There's a thin layer of meat over top, and then there's a layer of fat, and then there's a layer of skin. And ideally what you would like to do is place your knife in between the layer of skin and fat, and you just want to slide along that and get as close to the skin as possible, removing as much of the fat as you can, keeping in mind that you really want to get as much fat off as possible, because as it dries, it will just help the whole process. It'll dry faster, it's less likely to get rancid, your hide will look better, just everything in general. Even when you're smoking it, it'll be less likely to get singed. So yes, there's all kinds of reasons. So just take your time and work carefully along so you don't nick the hide here. Just take your time, work slowly, there's no rush. I'm placing all the bits of fat and tissue that I scrape off into a bucket filled with water, just to make it easier to clean up later. I just don't want all of that on the ground. It makes a mess, and it's, it could be smelly and stuff. And so anyways, I just like to keep things as clean as possible while I'm working. And adding a little bit of water to the bottom of the bucket just ensures that your fat and things don't stick. Just makes the cleanup process easier, and like who doesn't want things to be easier, like. So I just find that works best for me. I mean, you can do whatever you'd like. I put all of my scraps into my garden. I bury them all. I just dig a little hole and bury them in there, and that gets composted into my garden soil. So it's great. It's part of my regenerative system of trying to get simplifying things and making things more natural, getting away from pesticides and fertilizers and things like that. I mean, like you buy bone meal and things. Well, why not, just bury the bones of these skunks in my compost? It's basically the same thing. And after a month or so, they're completely gone. So basically, you got a little bit of bones left or whatever, but it all breaks down in your soil and it's nutrient rich, and it helps fortify the soil. Like the soil here there was like no topsoil, and so I'm trying to do my own composting and everything that I possibly can to bring the soil up to a better quality, without using any kind of harsh chemicals or fertilizers or anything like that. I'm trying to do everything naturally. And then you're going to want to go ahead and turn your hide so that the new area to be fleshed and worked on is on the flat part. Basically, you just keep working your way around the hide, scraping and turning and scraping and turning until you've gotten all the bits of flesh off. I like to also keep a second bucket that's on the other side, just out of view almost, and that is just filled with clean water. And I like to, as my knife gets dirty, I like to just give it a rinse in there and keep cleaning it. Just, it helps keep it from building up fat on the surface and just keeps things cleaner. Because why not, right? I mean, it's just nice to, if you're doing this, it is a messy job, and it's best to just do things as clean as possible. So just for the sake of the video, I've speeded things up, but in real time this took me about 45 minutes, and I was going pretty slowly, just taking my time, just basically enjoying my morning. I really was not rushing, so I mean, if you wanted to, you could probably get this done way quicker, but like I said, I was just really taking my time, and even then it only took me about 45 minutes at most. This skunk was a pretty large female, and I'm really glad to get her out of the breeding population because we do not need any more skunks around here. There was 9 in the yard the other day. It's just too much. It's getting out of control, and we don't need another litter. So it's good to get rid of these. I got a big male the other day, and it's great right before going into the fall and stuff. And I'm going to continue trapping them over the winter and hopefully get them all. Skunks have extremely fatty and muscly tails, so you're going to want to take extra care to try to get off as much of that as possible. Otherwise, during the tanning process, it will go rancid and it won't tan properly. And so you really want to make sure that you're getting all of that off as best as you can. You'll see a lot of people using an actual fleshing knife. I just don't have one, and so I am showing you that there are alternatives that work, comparatively well. This gets the job done, maybe it takes a little bit longer, but it works. So you don't have to have a bunch of specialty tools. You can basically just have a dollar store fish filleting knife and, a sharpener, and just make sure you keep that knife sharp and you're good to go. But it really doesn't require a bunch of expensive tools. Like if you want to get started, you can just get started very cheaply and easily and then go from there. Like you can really, you got to think about it like this. Pioneers were doing this like hundreds of years ago. People have been doing this for thousands of years. Maybe they didn't have all the tools. They were out in the bush, so you got to take these things into consideration and improvise sometimes. I'm just slitting it up the center belly. just because it's going to help with stretching and fleshing the face. Again, it's just personal preference, just for my purposes, what I'm doing with this pelt. You definitely do not have to cut it. You could leave it in a tube shape, but it's all up to you. I myself am just doing this to make it easier to flesh off the face and forehead and things like that, so that I can also tan that section as well. You want to try to be careful around the little ears. There's a lot of fat and cartilage and things, and if you don't get it all, that will go rancid and ruin your pelt as well. So yeah, I'm just taking care to get all of that. And oops, I cut a little hole there, but that's not a big deal. Anyways, as you can see, you just take your time and work slowly along, and you'll get it. Remember to check out the other videos in my skunk skinning series. So I have part 1 where I'm skinning the skunk, and this is part 2 where I am fleshing the hide. And in the upcoming video, part 3, I will be tanning the hide. And basically that's it. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel, The Feral Survivalist. Have a great day.